Welcome back to One-on-One with Mr. U. Of course, I'm your host, Mr. U. In studio with us, the founder and CEO of Shame-Free Life Coaching and Consulting, and the inventor of the brick methodology, and of course, the author of several books. One is There a Samson in You? Ronald Zion Roseboro is in the house. How are you, sir?
Mr. U, I'm doing great. Outstanding. Thank you so much for having me on your show. Appreciate that.
The pleasure's mine, brother. Good to have you here. We had a fantastic preliminary chat, man, and I want to get into some things that we were talking about that I think the viewers are going to love to hear about. If you're watching and listening for the very first time, of course, you can find all my work in the show notes, and I'm on every listening platform: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and of course our YouTube channel and Facebook has all of my live episodes. You can find them all at your leisure. We have 3 shows on our brand, but this is our interview show. We had a fantastic guest in the house. I'm excited about getting into it. So if you don't mind, Zion, kind of give us a brief look at your background and how you got from where you were to where you are right now. What were key factors in how you got to this place where you are now from your childhood? Break it down for us real quick.
Okay. That's a lot. We're going to cover the ground.
Yeah, it's good.
Sir. Okay. Born of a loving family. My mother and my father divorced when I was around 2 years old. So from the time of 2 to 7, I had no man in my life. Around 8 years old, my mother, she remarried. And my stepfather really did a wonderful job as he could. You know, sometimes we expect for someone to build a house, but if you're missing some tools, then it's going to be very challenging and difficult to build that house. So he showed me how to be a man, as far as how to pay the bills, how to be the administrator and the steward over the household. But unfortunately, he was physically present, but he was MIA mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So I had that gap in my life that needed to be filled. And so I found refuge with my colleagues in the street, and learned about manhood in the locker rooms after a basketball or football game. Learned about manhood by playing hoops at the local park, and so which was very distorted. And so so fast forwarding to that, still trying to find out what is manhood. How can I obtain this blueprint? What I've been given, a distorted blueprint, which also served as my identity, unbeknownst to me.
Wow, yeah.
So just transitioning after high school, still trying to find my identity in block parties, pool parties, looking at drug dealers, looking at all of the foreign cars and the jewelry, the sneakers and the women. Yeah. That led me to find a woman that I claimed as being my girlfriend. We had a relationship for about a year, and she was the daughter of a sergeant in internal affairs at that time.
Oh my goodness! Okay.
Yeah, and so she accused me of assault, and though I attempted very vigorously and strategically, along with counsel that I thought that was in my best interest, to pursue my innocence, to clear my name, regardless of that. Unfortunately, I did 5 years and 1 month in a North Carolina prison. Now, let me just add to this storyline. At the time of my arrest and incarceration, well, who was Zion at that time, other than just being lost and just out here? I was a single parent of my daughter that I gained through court consent. I showed up at every PTA meeting. I was there to order pizza for the classroom. I was there to help her with her homework, and whatever I did not know, I brought in a tutor. I took her to get her hair, took her to a salon every other week, because I didn't know how to do hair. So, and I was also a caregiver of my grandmother, who suffered from progressive dementia and Alzheimer's. Oh, wow. So that's who I was. And so my life forever changed at that point.
I love it, man. Wow. There's so many areas that there's some synchronicity between your life and mine, you know, with a couple of exceptions, but wow. Okay. You mentioned the distorted blueprint, and I think that's valuable because I don't know if you're aware, we have a men's roundtable series podcast that we do every week, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Shameless plug, but I got to talk about it. But we've been doing it since last summer. It was monthly, but we went to weekly because of the demand from the people. They want to hear men talk about these issues that we discuss in our safe space. And when you say distorted blueprint, can you quickly break down what that means for those that are watching, listening, who may not understand that men have that kind of challenge? There could be men who just are oblivious to it, or women who have no idea what we deal with. Can you break down briefly, if you can, what the distorted blueprint means and how that affected your identity?
Absolutely. Having identity is so important because that's your MO in life. Your identity is really your social security number, your spiritual social security number, your emotional, your mental, your psychological social security number. It is what identifies you. And so I believe that, and I thank God because I came from a background of strong women in my life. My great grandmother, who was a prayer warrior, my mother, and so they instilled certain values in me. Now, the mother is the nurturer, but I really believe that the father is the teacher. So therefore, the classroom is the home setting. That's the classroom. That's the university. That's the community college. So if the teacher is absent, or if he is physically there, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually checked out, MIA, it's very difficult for the student to get to curriculum of manhood, which is very important because that intersects with our identity. I'm talking about true manhood. I'm not talking about the manhood of the world, the manhood of social media and your favorite rap song. I'm talking about true manhood. When that becomes, when you don't have that, it becomes distorted. It becomes perverted. It becomes misplaced and misrepresented. And so we're grasping for straws and we're trying to find this thing that we know that we need in life because it serves as our true identity that comes from the Most High God. It comes from God himself. And so when that becomes convoluted with pain, with trauma, with rejection, abandonment, dejection, all of those types of issues, and we don't know how to filter that through a safe system of manhood, then that becomes a part of our distortion. It's almost like an OS system that's playing in the background of your computer, well, of your mind. And it constantly reminds you of your shortcomings, that you're not worthy, you're not good enough. And so that becomes pretty much your identity if it's not checked.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. One of the things that we talked about also that I really feel like having a male perspective is so profound. Again, we talk about this every Thursday at 7 o'clock. Things along this line as well. But the trauma, feelings of rejection, rebuilding after loss. You shared a lot of that in your story with me. I love for you. I don't know how to get you to encapsulate all three of those areas, but if you can kind of share some of your story there, where you felt the trauma, how you handled it, the rejection. Are you still dealing with rejection now? Does it still creep out into your everyday life? Or have you overcome it in some way? And just rebuilding after you've had such a loss. I mean, you talking about going to jail. People don't realize that, that's a whole different world. And coming back into, quote unquote, this world, there's a transition that go with that. And sometimes it's like a mindset. It's almost like somebody in the military. I got many friends that were former Marines that are really good friends of mine. When they come back into, quote unquote, civilian world, they don't understand how to even function. There's a transition period and it takes a long time. It's not a few weeks. For them, it's months. For some, I even hear it's years. They're out of the uniform, trying to figure out who, I'm not Sergeant Major this anymore. Who am I? So trauma, rejection, rebuilding after loss. I'm giving you all three of those. Work with it as you will, brother. I want to hear from you. Go ahead.
What I love about you, Mr. You shoot straight from the hip. You are a sniper. You don't come with a 12 gauge. You shoot no violence at all. But we're talking about here. We're just talking about your precision is on point. Let's go. So when we talk about trauma, it's so powerful because it paralyzes you. It places you in a place of incarceration. Now, I was incarcerated before I was incarcerated. I'm going to let
Come
that
on
sink
now.
for me. I was incarcerated because I had no emotional, mental, and spiritual blueprint that served as a foundation to build thereby. So therefore, I was stuck in time. Yes, I was 18. Yes, I was 25. At the time of me being escorted off to prison, not jail, but prison, I was 30 years old, right there in the prime of my life. Okay, I was a 29, 30-year old that was emotionally, I was 18. I was 18 in a 30-year-old body. So therefore, I
Wow.
was incarcerated. So I oftentimes marvel when people say, well, whenever I speak, do you know anyone who's ever gone to jail or prison? Yes. Hands suddenly just pop up in the air like popcorn. Have you ever been to prison? Then I see some hands that will slide up in the air, very in a shame sense, but they will put their hands in the air, and then everyone else would have their hands down. I say, well, I submit to you, everyone in this room have been to prison. You may not have visited a literal prison, but you have been in a financial prison, a mental prison, an emotional prison, a spiritual prison. If you're bound by codependency or any other type of drug, you are incarcerated. And so my pain and trauma, I met face to face when that gate shut, when that door shut to my prison cell. When I had to look at my mother, who was a decorated middle school, junior high teacher for 25 years, highly decorated. And she had 4 degrees under her belt of science, chemistry, physics, and other degrees. When I looked at her weep because she could not save me, that broke me. Something died when I stepped onto the prison grounds. Something died and something was rebirthed. Okay. What died was that by me thinking that I can do things my way, me just not asking for help when I needed. There was so much that it was a funeral, and it was also a wedding that took place. So I had to come face to face with trauma, rejection, pain, dejection. I had to come to terms with fierce anger, vehement resentment that was eroding every fiber of my being. And so it was after coming home, and it was after trying to become acclimated to life and having to face with real discrimination. We can't hire you because of this. We cannot help you because of that. And they're not looking at the truth of the matter. They're not interested in what you have to say. They're not interested in your version of what you deem to be true. They're not interested in any type of accomplishments that you have made outside of the disdain look of prison. They're only interested in what I can see online, in what your jacket says. So you're marginalized and you're polarized. So to answer your question in finality, that was what I had to deal with. That is what birthed me to do something for my own. I feel that God has given me such wisdom, and he has given me such an authority in his son Christ, who I met there. I met him when I was a youth and I left him, but then he visited me in my prison cell yet again, extending an olive branch of grace that I accepted, who was incarcerated on death row. So we serve one who knows about prison. And so he allowed me to experience manhood. He allowed me to experience pain and trauma, to overcome it, that I can be an instrumental tool in the lives of other men. So you asked a very profound question on the tail end of the questions that you asked. Do I still experience that? Sometimes I do. And that's what I love about truth. Truth doesn't need a wheelchair, a walker, a crutch. It stands on its own. And yes, I have come such a long way from the man who was angry with the world. a man who had no faith in women whatsoever. I'm done. A man who just internalized and became the embodiment of trauma to get to a place of true healing, truth, and deliverance. And so there are times when God had to deal with me. I want you to stop people pleasing. I want you to stop trying to defend yourself. I know, and you know, this is a new chapter. I have placed a pen in your hand. Can you begin to write again? You're stuck in the same chapter in your book of life. When it's time to turn the page and begin writing another chapter, because while you're stuck, people that I have assigned to you are stuck, and the blind can't lead the blind unless they both fall into a ditch.
Absolutely. I want to get, man, this is good stuff right here. I want to get into some of your work, man. Now, you're the founder and CEO of Shame-Free Life Coaching and Consulting. Talk to me about where that came from. I love the name of the title, first off, Shame-Free Life. I love that. I think I can get it based on the story you shared, but kind of break down, if you can briefly, how did that come about? Why did you decide to start that? And what are you seeing now that kind of encourage you with the right move?
Absolutely. So this came to being a couple of years ago. Actually, it was several years ago when I had the idea, living a shame-free life, because as men, we struggle with shame. We don't talk about it. Women, they gather together at the wine bar, they gather together after church, wherever they are, and they will talk it out. They will go to a therapy. They will go to a life coach, like you, Mr. U. They will talk it out. But as far as men, you know, we drink it away, we sex it away, we smoke it away, we buy it away. We don't talk about that. And so that is something that they have crippled us as men. And so when I get that revelation of living a shame-free life, because Paul reminds us, you know, in the book of Romans, chapter 1, he says that I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it's the power of God unto salvation to them that believe. And it's something about when we break the chain of shame that we're able to understand what life is truly about. You know, guilt means that I judge the behavior. Shame means that I judge my core self. Guilt means that I feel redeemable. Shame means that I am not redeemable. I'm irredeemable. And so it's getting to the very core of that shame. Perhaps it was at 6 years old. Perhaps it was a father who never showed up at your basketball game, wasn't thinking about not only taking care of you monetarily, but taking care of your mind. Maybe you had to figure out what this is about as far as manhood. And so there is a shame that needs to be unearthed. And when I came up with that, give no credit for myself, but I give all credit to God. He gave it to me and I ran with it.
Love it, man. Love it. Shame-Free Life Coaching and Consulting. Now you have something that you call the BRICK methodology. Kind of break down where that comes from. I believe you're the inventor of that, and it's a blueprint for rebuilding after you've lost greatly. Kind of share where that comes from and what you've been seeing in a lot of other people that's kind of adopted that methodology like you.
Absolutely. So I came up with the BRICK method to restore after brokenness, or to restore after trauma. The acronyms for BRICK means B as in breakthrough, resilience, identity, clarity, and kickstart. There's so many great books that are out there, wonderful, but there are many books that are great reading tools and instruments. But I think that people need to not just a self-help book, but how-to book. How do I overcome this? How do I get beyond this obstacle? I don't talk to too many people about this because I can't trust anybody. But I know that where I am right now, I'm stuck, and I really need some help. Well, this is where the BRICK method comes in. It's basically it's not just a book; it's a blueprint of taking you on a journey. Just imagine, Mr. U, that it's broadcast that there is an F5 tornado coming your way, and it is going to hit wherever you are. And you're right there in the dead center of a tornado, or you can say a hurricane. And so you take heed, you pack up your family, hey, we're out of here. But you have a lot of sweat equity in that house. You are the inheritor of this family home. You put thousands of dollars into this home. You have a Jeep that's there. You can't drive because you're taking the family car. So you're leaving so many things behind. When you return, it's ground zero. The house that you put so much sweat equity and love into, and there are memories that were locked up inside that house, your sink is down the street. Your bathroom is around the corner. It is complete rubble. So now you have a split-second decision. Do I cry over the rubble that's in my hand of what used to be my life, that identifies my life, or do I rebuild all over again right here? And that's what the brick method is, to walk with brothers specifically and saying, listen, you got a mess. I know. Yeah. I was there. I want to help you rebuild again without shame.
And you're helping them do that, man. Do you have any success stories you can share from your helping somebody rebuild? Anything that you can share, of course, with confidentiality in that, but can you share some success stories about what that methodology has done to help other people?
Absolutely. So let's start. We can go all the way back to, and I'll bring it up to date, to prison. There was a young man, Orlando, young, vibrant, handsome guy, but he was lost, man. And I'm there, and I'm soaking in my trauma until I had to get to the understanding, okay, well, now I need you to become the minister. I need you to become, God speaking to me, the counselor the coach that I have purpose for you to be. So what better time than to start right now in hands-on training? So I began to counsel this young man. He began to come to me with his problems. I mean, I'm like, do I have on my chest or on my head, I am a therapist. I am not a therapist, never gone to school for therapy, but he would bring me all his issues. And I would let him just talk and just unpack it. And then we would go back issue after issue, and I would just speak wisdom to it, not telling him what to do, not berating him, but we just talk it out. And years later, this young man is doing amazing work. I mean, amazing work as an entrepreneur. So now outside of prison, I'm home. I've met countless men. There is Jerome, and I won't say his last name. Who
right. Ain't asking for that, man. Don't do that.
and you know, a lot of it, because for some people it's like, man, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. I'm like, okay, well, let's just hook up and let's go to a coffee shop. Okay, yeah. Went to a coffee shop. He's feeling down, having problems at home with this girl, just a lot of trauma, and we begin to unpack that. Jerome's at a much better place, went back to school, got his degree. Wow. Now he's a welder, making great money. Now the girl at that time where he wasn't sure if he wanted to stay or go, had other prospects of women that were all around him. Now he committed his life to one woman. And now he has a child, and he's doing outstanding work. So it's not those glamorous clips that we see a lot of times on IG, and it is dirty. It's a dirty work. You understand, Mr. U. It is dirt up under your fingernails to get in the very soil of the souls of men, of all of the trauma from the time that you touch down on this planet to where you are right now. And you may look good in your phone call. You may look good as far as your financial portfolio and all the attainments and accomplishments that you have. But deep down inside, it's almost like that little boy will not stop crying.
Yeah, we can roll with this stuff. But I mean, intentionally keep it moving, man. There's just so much to get into, and our time is a little bit short. But one of the books that I know you wrote more than one book, but this one, the title by itself is like, okay, if there's a man out here that doesn't have to read this book, I want to meet him. I want to know who you are, because the title speaks for itself. It says, "Is there a Samson in you?" Break down where that book came from. How was that book born, and kind of share what you want men to understand from reading it.
Great question, Mr. Yu. Diamonds are made under pressure. Pearls are incarcerated in a clam's mouth, in an oyster's mouth. This book that you're referring to, Is There Samson in You, was birthed while I was in prison. I wrote that book while I was in prison. It was not published because God was dealing with me from a place and a platform of truth, that there's so many parallels between men and Samson is not even funny. And how Samson was a strong man, had strong intellect. He was no dummy. He was a judge of Israel. He was a legislator of laws. Yet he had this superhuman strength that nobody on the planet could match. And yet and still, he had a hunger and thirst that he would not bring to God, but he brought it to the lap of his assassin in the form of Delilah. And Delilah's not just mitigated as a woman. There could be many things that can constitute itself as being Delilah. Our need for validation can be a Delilah. Codependency can be a Delilah. Drugs, alcohol, escapism, anger can be your Delilah. That we rest our head in its lap, knowing that this lap is something's not just right here. And he knew that this assassin, this is not just a beautiful woman, but she's really out to kill me. But I'm so tired. The Bible says that he was tired and he rested in Delilah's lap. So there was a sense of solitude and harmony, even in the lap of the one that was sent to kill him. And so God was just downloading in me that I need to get this out to men, because Samson died when he was 40 years old. That's young.
Very.
He died at 40 years old. He spent 40 years, instead of being a deliverer of Israel, he was trying to deliver himself instead of bringing himself to the deliverer. And so it just draws a parallel between the plights, the strongholds, the vices of Samson, and what we go through as men, because there's nothing new under the sun.
Wow. Is there Samson in you, man? There's so many things in that, brother. So much in that. If you have opportunity, and I want to give you that today, but I do want to ask you just another question or so, and then I'll let you speak to our audience for about 120 seconds. If you could say that you have a BHAG, or a big, hairy, audacious goal for yourself right now, what would that be?
Audacious goal. I would.
But the big one. This is the one which, like, you know what? This is the legacy. If I can do this, I've done it all. That thing.
Yeah. I want to be the man of truth, the man of identity, and the man of authority that God has purposed for me to be. And out of that will flow into every assignment that God has for me with every man that will ever cross my path, so that that man can rise to the occasion of stepping out of that tomb like Lazarus to come forth into his purpose and destiny. Out of that, my wife will be the recipient of a man who loves her, not just because of how she looks, not just because of how she's shaped, but I love her heart, and I am commissioned to be her protector, and as well as my children. So that will be my audacious take on what will be so meaningful to me. If I can cover those grounds, man, everything else is gravy.
I love it. If you can verbalize one, what would you say is your greatest fear, man?
My greatest fear is failing God, man. I failed him so many times. I can't even.
Yeah, that's a big one, because eternity is a long time.
Yes.
So tell me, before I let you speak to our audience and kind of let everybody know where they can find your work and where they can find you, how do you mitigate that fear? Who do you have around you when it comes to, I deal with coaching and personal development. It's my life. It's where I am. I eat, sleep, and drink it at this point. How do you mitigate that fear? How do you insulate yourself against that happening? Because it can't just be you, or you never really accomplished it. But You have people around you, accountability. You have people who are clarity partners for you. Speak real briefly on what your life looks like when it comes to coaching and personal development and being coached yourself. Go ahead.
Yes. Every coach needs a coach. Every counselor needs a counselor.
Better say that thing loud so people can hear you. They don't know out here.
Every coach needs a coach.
I understand. You ain't doing this you out, but go ahead. Elijah. Come on, Paul and Tim, I can go on all day. Go ahead.
Yes, say that. So I have amazing people around me. I have, first of all, my wife serves as accountability partner. I have my ministry family that's there always for me and reminding me of who I am, not who I used to be, and to move in that vein ferociously. I have a friend, one specifically, Truck, shout out to you, who has always been there for me. I met him when I was in the pit, when I was in the prison. He is an upstanding man, a powerful and true. There's the Popes, Kerry Pope. And meeting men like yourself and your round table that you talked about on Thursday night, to pour into, because, you know, when you're pouring into people so much, you know, you find yourself empty, and it's like, man, I need to be filled up. And so we can't drive our car 100 miles and not fill up. And so it's so important. And so I have those mechanisms around me, but I'm not so prideful that I can't recognize when I'm in the presence of a real man, such as yourself. I'm not just saying that because I'm on your show, because I can feel you, I can sense you, and to learn from. See, when we stop learning, we think we know it all. We're getting ready to crash and burn. It's only a matter of time. I want to learn as much as I can.
Pride go before destruction.
Yes.
Without question. Well, thank you for the compliment, brother. I expect us to stay in contact with each other and foster that kind of process and relationship that you just got finished describing. So I'm going to hold you to that one. But in the last 120 seconds of this show, I would love for you to speak what's on your heart to the audience, but also find some time within that 120 seconds to let folks know where they can find you and your work. Go for it, brother.
You can find me at my website. All of my social media handles are there. All of my books are there. One-on-one coaching, group coaching, Samson Restored. I started this movement to restore men. We talk about Samson laying his head in Delilah's lap, but he was also restored in the end. You can be restored too. You can go to theshamefreelife.com, theshamefreelife.com. Finally, no matter where you are in life, you have purpose. You know, the Bible reminds us of 2 Corinthians 5:17. If any man or woman be in Christ, they are a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things have been made new. If you have breath in your body right now, this is a new beginning. This is a new beginning. All you have to do is move forward and believe in God, that you have a purpose, believe in yourself, that you have an assignment.
Thank you very much, sir. Founder and CEO of Shame Free Life Coaching and Consulting, and the inventor of the Brick Methodology and author of several books, The Brick Method and Is There a Samson in You? Ronald Zion Roseboro's in the house. Thanks again for being a part of this conversation, Zion, man. We appreciate you. Look forward to hearing more from you.
Yes,
and connecting more with you. I'm expecting this, so I'm looking forward to that, man. For all you guys watching and listening, we're live right now on YouTube and Facebook, so you can find our show or the replay. Catch up. You can hear all the incredible answers that this man gave to my crazy questions. But I'm grateful that he was here today, and hope you got somebody in the episode. For all you guys that just listen to podcasts and you don't really watch podcasts, totally fine. You're still a part of our family. We'll have these episodes up probably within the next 45 minutes or so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon, whatever you're using to hear your podcast. Thanks again for watching and listening. Jump on our YouTube channel, youtube.com They Call Me Mr. U. Subscribe to our channel. Help us out. We're trying to put out good content and quality for you guys to consume. So help us out. Give us a follow, a subscribe out there. Jump in the comments. Drop some questions. Help us move this thing along, man. It's important, and guys like Zion and I benefit from this. So please help us out with this. And we're so grateful that you guys are a part of our family. And shout out to the Choice Podcast. Thanks for jumping in, my guy. Awesome podcast as well for men and for believers. The Choice Podcast. Check it out. It's available on YouTube, I believe, also, and on Facebook. Check them out. And thanks again for watching and listening. Zion,
That's Mr. U. We out. Have a great day.